Yeah, hello and welcome to another update video about VeChain. So the markets are rather quiet on this weekend, but this gives everybody the opportunity to take a look at the markets, breathe a little bit, right? And plan maybe the next trade. So I'm here to help you to find some of these potential opportunities to help you understand the chart a little bit. And yeah, we are currently here trading at around 6.1 cents. I think we might see some movement very soon, not only on the VeChain chart, but generally across the market. So, I mean, it's already Saturday, tomorrow Sunday. I think on Monday we could see some movement, and maybe even on Saturday before the daily or the weekly candle closes. We've seen that in the last couple of weeks that there has been some movement. There has been some volatility before the weekly candle closed. So VeChain has obviously turned around up here just before it came towards the 200-day moving average, very important resistance level, a level that, or a dynamic resistance level in this case, that people worldwide take a look at, consider it is one of the most relevant ones. And you can interestingly see that we are now in a range. We are between the 50-day moving average here in orange. Disregard that I'm on the 4-hour time frame, these are still the daily ones. So we're caught between the 50-day moving average here as support and the 200-day moving average as resistance. And that's quite interesting because it can provide an opportunity for a range. Yeah, so we are here basically at the moment in a range. Now, in the past, we haven't really been too long between these levels. If I look back in the chart, they have crisscrossed a lot. Now, they have never really provided a range as such. I mean, at the moment, you can see we are sort of between both. Looks like it's really been the first time that we really have been trading between them. But to be also honest, we only had a touch point down here and a touch point up there. So I'm not sure how relevant that is, because in the past it hasn't really been providing, it hasn't really provided a range. But of course, the 200-day is an important resistance level or an important level, and the 50-day is also an important level. So yeah, we are here between two important levels, and that could be an opportunity to swing trade a little bit between these. Yeah, at the moment we are obviously here in there's two ways you can draw here or identify a pattern. So one is, no, I take that out. One is here on the 4-hour chart, you can see that we can still, and I showed you that in the previous video, I showed you here this potential bear flag. So we came down with that flagpole, very impulsive move down, a lot of red candles. Here on the 4-hour, you can see that was on the 10th of April, an engulfing red candle, and that always gives a good indication that the downtrend is beginning. Yeah, we had that here as well, engulfing red candle, then here as well, and this continues usually the downtrend here as well. So whenever one of these moves down started, it was an engulfing red candle here, so actually all the time. So from here, engulfing red candle, downtrend starting. 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 Here as well, here as well. And we haven't seen one yet. As soon as you see here an engulfing red candle emerging, then that could be an indicator that we are pushing down. So we can draw here this still as a descending wedge with fake out to the upside, absolutely possible. Alternatively, might draw it just as a triangle. Yeah, in the end, both in this case bearish patterns, because a this sort of wedge pattern, this ascending wedge, is a bearish pattern, and a triangle here, symmetrical triangle, would be a continuation pattern, and we are in a downtrend. So this would indicate that more likely than not, you can expect a breakout to the downside. Now, as always, I'm not making the markets. I have no idea if this is really going to take place. It's just what typically happens, but it doesn't need to happen. But it's certainly worth keeping an eye on this. Yeah, so you want to have your eyes on this. There's a potential opportunity for a breakout to the downside here, possibly to the 50-day moving average, where we could see another bounce. To the other opportunity that there is if we draw a trend line here, you have an descending trend line. You can draw another trend line, and let me see if I can actually figure that out in a good way. There you go. So we have a range here, yeah? So we have a descending channel. You have one touch point, another touch point, and, well, we have 1, 2, 3 touch points here. That might become another one, and down here we have 3 touch points as well. Valid channel. In this channel, we are making currently higher lows. You can see that. We are coming higher. And we are, yeah, basically making higher lows. That's actually the first time in this downtrend that we actually can see it like that, making higher lows. So we are currently approaching here an apex, yeah, apex between that descending trend line and that ascending trend line. Now we currently really at this tipping point here. We're getting squeezed into this apex between this descending or ascending wedge and the descending trend line. So I guess here, maybe even today or tomorrow, should see a decision here. Volume is minimal at the moment, yeah. If I go to the 1 hour chart, we might see it a little bit more detailed, but the volume is really down here. It's minimal, yeah. Volume is really minimal at the moment. Overall, we haven't really seen a lot of volume anyway recently throughout this whole downtrend knot, but there you go. If I need to make that a bit clearer, but here you can see the volume has really dropped off a lot, pretty much when the weekend started. Now that usually means that whenever you see that such minimal volume, I mean, it makes sense because when you get squeezed into an apex or when you are in a triangle, for example, you typically see that volume drop off. But then when you break out, you will see huge volume, and volume is what generates a trend. So let's say you see a breakout happen here out of this channel, for example, here to the upside, then with additional volume, if you then spot the volume, that could be a catalyst to bring the price higher. Absolutely. Where would we go with the price? So from my point of view, the next resistance level would be here, that previous high at around 7 cents. That has been resistance here. It has been support here. 10th of January, it has been support here. And I think that would be an important level. The 7 cent level would sort of be the next logical level when we break out to the upside. It's not maybe such a significant level. The next main level, and you can see it here on the chart by looking at the VPVR, historic volume is here around 8.2 cents. There's been a significant area of trade and activity that would provide a lot of resistance up here before we actually reach the 200-day moving average. So at the moment, really here in a state of not knowing yet, but there is something interesting coming, and eventually as traders, we want to identify these opportunities that can generate an advantageous situation for us. And we are coming close here to a potential situation where there might be a breakout out of this descending channel or the ascending wedge. Very interesting, because we've got here a pattern within a pattern, and we're just hovering above the 50-day moving average, and that could provide support, obviously from below, could help to push the price higher, and it could bring some short-term upside potential. Overall, looking a little bit more medium term, I think we only get really a chance to break out to new all-time highs as soon as we break, first of all, requirement, break above the 200-day moving average. Very important, because we have now been below the 200-day moving average since the 3rd of December, so quite a long time, and that hasn't really been helpful. So we need to break above that. First, it's coming down lower and lower. Next level, and that is also very important, is that 10.2 cent level indicated here. It's basically a range between 10.2 cents and 10.9 cents. So that is highly relevant as well. We need to get above that level, and then we can be more confident that the low is already in. But a very important level for VeChain is actually that wave B high. So that's more of a medium term, longer term goal. Need to get above that. That's around 18.7 cents. When you get above that, then I think the downside potential is over. That is quite a long way, but I'll give you here my longer term forecast as well. Overall, the chart has done everything that we've been talking about. From an Elliott wave point of view, we reached here obviously that target area down here in that wave 2. Overall, I still think this here was a wave 1. We then came down in a wave A, moved up in a wave B, came down in a wave C. This has always been the area where with the highest likelihood you would see a turnaround. Now we have made a turnaround. However, at the moment, for a medium term outlook, it's pretty much impossible to say if we have seen the low yet or not. Throughout this whole downtrend, I could be very, very confident that we haven't seen the low yet because we didn't reach the target area. But now, as we have reached the target area, the price has a possibility to start to move higher. It has given an attempt, but obviously didn't get through the 200-day moving average. And yeah, we are pretty much in a state now where it's not very clear, because what you can use obviously as support to identify that are, for example, your moving averages. But as you can see, we are basically stuck between two moving averages. So it doesn't really give you a clear picture yet. Eventually the market needs to decide. But overall, for a next wave up, that wave 3, that should take the price to at least 45 cents. That would be here the 1.618 FIB extension. And that is maybe from where we are now, not exactly a 10x, but bear in mind, this is also a absolute minimum target. The 1.618 FIB extension is the minimum target for a wave 3, and the next wave should be a wave 3 ideally. So we've got here wave 1, 2, the next wave should be the wave 3. That should really start the rocket here soon. And overall, I think there is still downside risk. My personal view would be that we haven't seen the low yet, or at least that we come down deeper into the target area once more. But bear in mind, there's always short-term upside potential. And if you see that descending channel break to the upside, that together with volume will probably push the price higher to 7 cents and maybe even to that 8.7 cent level where you can find the 200-day moving average. And that is really what I can tell you at the moment about the situation here on the VeChain chart. Hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then check out the channel membership, and also make sure you follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And for both, you can find the links in the description. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.